Why does it say B?
T.
Oh,
T.
boss.
Listen, T.
No, I didn't know what the B stood for.
All right,
The boss.
I think we might almost be ready.
Lisa, just another minute. It's loading.
Okay, just one more minute, Michael said.
Bobby, are you there?
He's on
Bobby
mute.
may
He's
not be
muted
here.
right now.
I'm
Oh,
here.
But he's on
I-
mute.
Is he there?
I'm
He
here.
was.
Yep.
Okay.
I heard
You
him.
okay?
Still am.
Did you make it
Your
back?
screen is
Good.
not up.
Yeah. We
Because
don't
I'm in my
see you.
truck. I'm driving.
Are you
That's
still
a
in New
bad
York?
idea. Zoom and driving. No,
Oh,
I'm
you're
in
the
Oakland.
car. I hope it's wireless.
All right,
Hands-free.
everyone, we're live.
Okay, we're live now.
Where's Brian?
I do not see one yet.
Brian, are you
I'm
here?
just saying, if
Brian,
I-
our attorney?
Listening to people talk and then watch their mouths move. This is going to be very unnerving.
All right. Okay, so then when we start then. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Oakland Mayor and Council. Today is Wednesday, May 13th. Roll call
Mayor Schwager,
here.
Councilman Bialy,
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Here.
Did he say, yeah, there's a delay. Councilman Levy,
Nat said here.
Levy,
Here,
Councilman Pignatelli,
here,
Here?
Councilman Talamini,
Here.
Councilman Van Ack.
so this is going to be long night.
Here.
okay, we don't have our
Everybody is
attorney
free.
here yet? Okay, we dispense with the salute to the flag. Please take a moment of silence, which is very easy on this internet connection. Thank you. Our thoughts and wishes go out to all families who are affected by the virus. Meeting announcement. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. And for my mayor's report, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. As you know, I do record nightly a message which comes in at 6 o'clock, and it's through SwiftReach. It's a reverse 911 system. If you are not receiving my calls, go to the website. It's www.oakland-nj.org and click on SwiftReach, follow the instructions, and add your telephone number. There was a call to Borough Hall, and I heard it was on Facebook as to why we require so many links or instructions to be able to participate in our Zoom meeting. And there's two very good reasons. Well, the first reason is called a Zoom bomb. And I was affected by it a couple of weeks ago when I was doing story time with the preschoolers. The preschoolers were coming on, and all of a sudden there were porno pictures on the screen. Luckily, Mike, who is our assistant administrator, who was our tech guy, got it off immediately. And I think it was quick enough that the little children did not see the pornography that was exhibited. Then the following week, the Rec Commission had a Zoom meeting inviting everybody to attend with the link and the password. And they too had a Zoom bomb whereby there were pictures of, I think it was children being molested. So we decided we needed more security, and through the way it's done by contacting Mike, our assistant administrator, at least we have a footprint of who is asking to come on, and that's why we have to do it this way. Until Zoom can follow a better security system, we have no other way to do this. For the safety of everyone, the Memorial Day Parade has been canceled, and our annual town carnival, followed by fireworks, is also canceled for this June. I know the Public Events Committee is planning on some other activities that they could do, and now with the governor's new directive about having drive-ins or drive-throughs with cars, maybe something will be in the works. I called Ron Beatty, and I also asked Councilman Pignatelli if the American Legion was planning on doing anything for Memorial Day. And as of yet, I don't think they have can coordinate it virtually. As of now, all recreation is still passive recreation. Yes. You want me to finish?
Mayor, I received an email, and Pat did also today, Ron Beatty, and they're gonna do the ceremony at Pond Cemetery. But I don't know if anything's gonna go on at the Veterans Memorial area.
Oh, thank you. That's great. That's good news. Thank you. As of now, all recreation is still passive recreation. We're waiting for direction from the state before we move forward. Our tennis courts are closed, our playgrounds are closed, and it's all for the public safety. Where in-person graduation and parties are still prohibited. However, the drive-bys are allowed. And today, as I mentioned in my message, the governor stated that drive-in and events, outdoor events, can be held if you're in your vehicle, but you must keep your windows closed and you must practice social distancing. Large gatherings are still prohibited. Someone called me with a complaint about food establishments not following the CDC guidelines. It was an anonymous call. They refused to give their name. I tried calling back. It was a blocked phone number. I told the person when they called that I certainly will keep all information I receive confidential, but they would not say who they were. Therefore, I want everybody to know, if you call me or you email me, I will respond to you, but not to anonymous people where you don't sign a letter or you won't even give me your name. Census, the census, another reminder about census. The census is taken every 10 years. In 2010, we in New Jersey were undercounted, which affected our federal funding. Don't let this happen again. It is so easy. You go online, you click on my 2020 census.gov, fill in the blanks, and it's done. And it helps with future funding. A motor vehicle shall remain closed until at least May 26th. They have an expanded online services through their website, njmbc.gov. In fact, this panel that I was just on right before the council meeting through the New Jersey State Bar Association, we had a representative from motor vehicles speak with us. And there's a lot of online services for motor vehicle, but as of now, the offices are still closed. Story time with the mayor shall resume next Wednesday at 11 o'clock for preschoolers via Zoom. Once again, you will have to go to the how to click on to be invited to the story time. And I just received this invitation today, and I was talking to Richard. It's from the family of, now if you're involved with rec, you may know who this is, the family of Michael Teal, T-E-E-L. And this is a special tribute to a longtime resident, Michael Teal. Good afternoon. Just wanted to say on behalf of my family, Michael Teal, longtime resident who coached recreation football for many years and led the teams to their first ever Super Bowl win, being honored for his sacrifice during the 9/11 terror attacks at the National Police Week Memorial in Washington, D.C. He was a Port Authority police officer who died of 9/11 related pancreatic cancer. His name is being added to the National Law Enforcement in Memorial in Washington, D.C. in honor of National Police Week. So in honor of National Police Week, and to Michael Teal, thank you for helping and being a first responder. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Second. Aye.
You can see how this is going with the delay. Okay, Michael, you're on.
Mayor, I don't see anybody who identified themselves by hitting the hand icon.
Wait, how do you?
Make
never
a
mind.
Michael, do you have anybody?
Mike, we have,
Motion
There
to
is no
close.
raise
There's no
hand
one
up.
present.
No, if you go to participant on the
hear me?
bottom of the
Okay,
screen,
second.
there's an icon that says participants. You have to click raise
All right.
hand.
What,
So you click participants, it opens the screen. There's three buttons on the bottom there. The one on the right says raise hand. At least that's how it is on my computer. You have to click that in order to, so we have two
But
people
there's
with
two
hand
people
raised.
who have
Mine's
raised
on top.
hands.
yeah,
Mine's on
I
the
see
top.
two people. Mike,
All
do you
right.
see that?
you have Vivian King and Louise Baggy or Baggy.
All right, Vivian,
Lisa, can you try to let him in?
I'm not really sure how to do it. No one taught me how to do this.
All right,
Mike,
let
can you do
me, let me try.
All right,
Okay,
Vivian,
Vivian's there.
Vivian, speak.
I'm here. Okay. King 113
All right, you can
Hiawatha
speak.
Boulevard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Ed.
Okay.
we can hear you.
Great. Vivian King 113 Hiawatha Boulevard. So I have a question. It was brought to my attention that there seems to be an issue with hanging a banner for Indian Hills High School graduation. I do not have a child who is graduating this year, but I do have a child who graduated last year, and I do have children in the school system at Indian Hills. I also have one at Valley Middle School. So basically, I'd just like to know what the issue is, if any, about hanging a banner in the center of town. It's my understanding that Franklin Lakes is having a banner hung at McBride Field. It's my understanding also that Wyckoff will be hanging a banner somewhere in the center of town. These are unprecedented times. I understand that it's something that none of us have ever had to deal with. However, I think that these students have lost so much, and it's very important that they be honored. We have students who also go to Ramapo. If something could maybe be done in conjunction with the Ramapo Indian Hills Board of Education to maybe, just a suggestion, a banner with both schools, since we do have some children who reside in Oakland who attend Ramapo High School. Something to honor them, a place where they can, see that, we are all proud of them and that they have not been forgotten. It would be most helpful to just quell some of the anxiety that they're all going through at this very difficult time.
Vivian, it's on the agenda to be brought up right after we finish with the public portion. So where we can have a discussion. And I will also at that time tell everybody my discussions with both the mayors of Franklin Lakes, Frank Pavona, and the mayor of Wyckoff, Tim Shanley. So Vivian, if you could hold back, and there'll be another public portion at the end of the meeting. We will be discussing this in depth shortly. Thank you.
But will there be a vote? Will there be a vote on it and a decision made today?
Well, I'm gonna find out, but I don't know. I'll let you know during the when I bring it up in the next section. We can't vote now during public portion, so let's wait for the discussion.
Okay.
All right, there's other people with raised hands, but I don't know how to do it.
There's a Louise.
Michael,
Hello?
Yes,
I think Michael's having some issues.
Yeah, my name is Louise Baggy. I live at 5 Hobart Place in Oakland.
where do you live?
5 Hobart Place.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No problem. I know Vivian just brought up a banner. I think we had talked earlier about a different kind of banner. We're requesting a banner in Bush Plaza with the picture of the senior class. And I'm not sure if this is on the agenda or whether I'm supposed to speak.
It's on the agenda and we will be discussing it.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, just to clarify, I think Vivian's point, someone had emailed me yesterday about putting a banner across Rampo Valley Road, which I had told them that we don't have the ability to give permission for
I'll
that.
explain it, Lisa. I'll explain it during the discussion, my discussions with both mayors.
Okay.
Who's next?
that's all I see, Mayor.
Okay, close.
Motion to close.
Close.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Approval. We have minutes from Thursday, April 16th. This was the budget meeting. There a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any
Second.
discussion?
Second.
Any discussion? Is there discussion?
No.
Roll call.
No.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
What?
Councilman Knapp,
Yes.
She's fucking horrendous.
Yes,
Councilman Levy, Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Eck,
Yes.
Okay, we have minutes from April 22nd. It was a council meeting. There a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Second.
Roll call.
I have
Councilman
a
Bialy,
discussion. This is painful.
Yes.
Can we get this fixed?
Councilman Knapp,
yes,
Is he there?
Councilman Levy,
Yes, but I blame Rich for this somehow.
Councilman Pig,
Of course.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van
And
Eck,
Boswell.
Yes.
And Bos- We have minutes from the May 1st special meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
yes,
Councilman Levy,
Yes.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack,
Yes.
Who has mail? Okay, now you know why for the next item, we asked Ryan to keep it very brief because this is torture with the delay. And we've all heard the dog park presentation. So Ryan, you're on, you have 2 minutes, which will last an hour because of the delay.
Yes, can everyone hear me fine?
Is he there?
Yes.
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 Go ahead, Brian.
All right, excellent. All right, doing the short and sweet version. So I want to thank everyone again for your support of the dog park. And the last time I came before the council, you guys reviewed a tentative plan for what the dog park would look like. Since then, that enabled us to raise pretty much the rest of the funds that we need. We've raised a little over $37,000 in cash and about another $48,000 in pledge donations. So we are at the point where we are ready to go and start getting ready to build the dog park. We did change a few of the plants that we did have in the plan, and that was approved by the Environmental Commission and the Great Oak Park Committee. So now it's coming in front of the council for all of your review, and if you approve, we can start getting to work and build Oakland's first dog park.
All right, this is
Did
Councilman Knapp. I make a motion that we go
everybody-
forward with the dog
Concern
park.
Committee Review it? Oh, okay. Is there a second?
I second Bob's motion.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, next. Now we have the issue with, it's not a banner.
Okay, Mayor,
As I
Mayor, just
stated,
to
what?
clarify, we're going to have a resolution next meeting.
Next meeting.
Just to clarify, we're going
Yes.
to have a resolution on the next meeting, just to memorialize the motion.
Right, right. So over the weekend, I received a phone call
can I
from
make
one
a
of the
re-
residents who asked about what? What? Are you there?
I want to make a resolution that
spoke
Rich
up?
fixes this thing for next time.
Okay. I think we all
Second that.
agree. Because you're
I
not, your
coulda
mouth
would.
is not moving, Councilman.
My mouth never stops moving.
Are you speaking, Councilman? You're not moving, your mouth is not. Okay, so over the weekend, I received a call from one of the residents who is a parent of a graduating senior. And she said, because all that's happening, she asked for two things. First was apparently at the beginning of the school year, the senior class takes a group photo. So her request was if they can mount a photo on a big board and post it in, and not post it, but erected in Bush Plaza. Secondly, she asked if she could line the streets with photos of all the seniors. And I said, well, that's a little tricky because of the right of way and might disrupt traffic. And I don't know if that's such a good idea, but neither, I said it has to come before the council for their discussion and their vote. In the meantime, I spoke to Frank Favona, mayor of Franklin Lakes. And just this morning, he said to me, what do you mean you're putting a banner across 202? I said, we are not putting a banner across 202. First of all, we only used to put banners across 202 when it was an Oakland event such as the carnival. And we had, if I'm correct, we had poles from Rockland Electric. Those poles are no longer there, and Rockland will not give us permission anymore to attach, hanging up a banner on their poles. So there's no more banners across 202. If anything, the council tonight will talk about allowing the class to put up a group photo on a big billboard, I guess on a board. He said to me, the same thing happened in Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff. I have since also spoken to Mayor Shanley from Wyckoff. In Franklin Lakes, they are putting up a big congratulatory board in McBride Park, which is across from the Market Basket, and that is Franklin Lakes Borough property. And in the park, they're going to put up a banner, and everybody from the 2 high schools are welcome to join in. And if they want to put up a lawn sign or a photo of the graduating senior, they're welcome to do it inside the railing. However, he said it will only be allowed for 2 weeks, and first come, first serve. When they run out of room, that's it. It cannot be all over Franklin Lakes. Originally, in Franklin Lakes, they were asked to put up at every intersection. He said, absolutely not. I then spoke to Mayor Shanley from Wyckoff. I said, we're a regional school district. My heart goes out to the graduating seniors. I feel really bad for them. It's a terrible time. They're missing out on all the activities, the proms, the graduations. What is Wyckoff doing? I know if we can help them, we should help them. So Wyckoff says, I really don't even have a space for a board to put up. Well, maybe we'll find some place. And that's how I left it. So then I found out that the sign, that it's not a sign that they wanted to put up. It was supposed to be a class picture of all the graduating seniors, not a congratulatory sign, but a picture. And it would be staked into the ground. They would put it up, they would take it down. But I was shocked when I saw the size, 5 feet by 10 feet, which is kind of big, I think. So now it's open for discussion.
I think whatever we can do to make lemonade out of lemons, we should do. And I you know, as long as the sign isn't going to be a hazard that it would blow over or something like that, I think we should accommodate the students and their parents any way we can, because this is a terrible situation.
I agree.
I agree with Russ.
I can't.
We should,
Well, somebody, one at a time. Who's next? Is that you, John? You shrugged your shoulders. Raise your hand so we know
I'll
it's you.
start. It's me. I agree with Russ. I think we should go out of our way to make this special time of the seniors' year a real special time. And it's unfortunate that the graduating ceremonies are all but they've given them all up. So any way we can honor the graduates and make them feel that we are all wishing them the best in their future, I think we should accept whatever they want to do. Want to put up a sign? Put up the sign at Bush Plaza. I'm for it. If it was me graduating now, and I'm not going through any ceremony, the prom's gone, everything's gone, this is the least we can do to make them this time of their lives memorable.
All right, Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes, I'd just like to say, as far as the size of the sign, we have an ordinance, I believe, for Bush Plaza that says signs cannot be greater than 4 by 8, which is 32 square feet.
Correct. That's correct, Pat.
What is the size of the thank you sign we have there?
That's less.
Anybody else raise your hand? I don't know who wants to speak.
Well, I know at the last meeting, actually it was the public safety meeting. I think the suggestion was made that the sign would say, congratulations to the graduating class of 2020 at Indian Hills, Ramapo Valley, etc., but not have pictures on it because I think, I don't know, is there like 300 students at that's graduating?
I don't know.
But anyway, so it presents two problems. One is the ordinance that we have for a sign 4 by 8, which is 32 square feet. I don't know how you're going to fit 300 graduates on there. But I think the first suggestion was to just say congratulations to the graduating class of 2020 at Indian Hills, Ramapo Middle School, Barnstable, or whatever other academies we have.
Make it
That's not what they're
inclusive of all the
asking for.
schools.
But that's not what they're asking for. It's coming out of their money. They're paying for it. So now you have to, now,
If,
your next, Lou, that was your hand is up?
My hand is up, and I think Grant's after me. Unless you want to go first, Grant, it's fine.
Mayor, there's some.
his
You want to
hand
go
up?
first, Grant?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Now you go right ahead. I'll go
So-
after you.
Thank you. So I do certainly think whatever we do should include all the schools because all the kids are graduating. And based on what Franklin Lakes is doing, the only place I can think of that has something sort of like that kind of real estate that it would not be a danger, traffic hazard, is maybe down at the soccer field at the end of Roosevelt. That's it's a big field. People can go down there. They can see, they can see their pictures. Just the thought. We don't really have any place right off of a major road to do this. Bush Plaza is not a big place. And, at the end of the day, there's cars driving through there. So we can't block it all up with signs. We could allow people to put something down, like I said, at the field down by, at the end of Roosevelt. I don't believe that our ordinance for sign size would even have relevance there. There's a big fence. People could put pictures of their kids up along the fence. Quite frankly, the land, as you go down there, the land on the left is borough land except for one property. Those are all the properties that we bought back through our not Green Acres, Rich. What was it again?
Open space.
Rich, where we bought
buyout.
houses? Remember all the houses we bought? Yeah,
The
I
flood
forget
buyout program.
what the program it was. Right.
I should
Know
have
that,
seen
by
it.
the way. So we have all those properties down there. What?
I said, who was
Anyways,
gonna
we
see
have all
it?
these properties that are ours. Anybody can drive down there. And people from the highway can see it. The highway's right above it. Anybody rolling down the Ramapo River can see it. It's right there by the river. And it's not a traffic hazard.
Grant?
I don't know, just a thought. I don't know where else we could do it in Mass. Because we don't have that kind of real estate near a highway.
They're asking for Bush
I just
Plaza.
want to,
They're asking, this is what they're asking for. They're asking for the group photo of the graduating class at Bush Plaza. That is their request. So, Councilman Bennett,
So who could tell us?
I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Well,
Are you
no, I
there?
guess my question is, so we have this ordinance about 32 square foot. Number one is, what is that born out of? How did that number come up? 32 square feet.
It's the ordinance.
Well, I know what it is. I'm just saying, is there a safety reason for it? Is it an aesthetic thing?
Pat
What's
is
involved?
talking, but
Brian?
he's muted.
Brian, could we
You're muted, Pat.
violate,
Yeah.
could we amend that for ourselves? If we want to do something as a township?
We could waive
For
it.
these
We could
kids?
waive.
Yeah,
We
I
can
mean,
waive it.
basically, if you want to change.
Wait a
the
minute, Grant
sign-
is next. I'm sorry, who's talking?
Brian,
Brian is talking.
Brian, go ahead. I had the same question, so go ahead.
yeah, I mean, basically what you're doing is, it's like zoning does not apply, the ordinances don't apply to the municipality's own action. If you treat this as a the municipal action, then you could waive the requirements of the ordinance. You know, also you have to take into consideration the circumstances that we're under, the reasons that are being considered, and that it will be temporary in any event.
There you go.
One thing,
Do
Franklin,
as we say, not as we do.
Franklin Lakes is limiting it to 2 weeks, a week before the originally scheduled graduation and a week after the graduation. So it would be up to 2 weeks. That's in Franklin Lakes. Now, Van Eck, Councilman.
Well, you answered one of my questions there, Brian, so thank you. I want to echo what John and Pat and Russ and everybody's been saying. I think it's a great idea. We should absolutely do whatever we can. I can't imagine what it's like for the seniors and their families to not have the experience of traditional senior year in high school. I can't help but reflect back on my own, listening to everybody's comments. It wasn't that long ago that I was there, and I just I'm
I
with
hate
all
you.
the students and their families. Not as long, yes, some longer than others when they graduated.
I know where you live.
That's good. So I think we should do whatever we can. And I'm full support of the sign, the size of the sign that they suggested, especially after hearing what Brian commented on, and what Lou's comments about. I was going to suggest somewhere else, but if you like that area, it seems really safe. I didn't think of that. That sounds like I was going to suggest, maybe down by the rec complex or somewhere in that area where we could put up these pictures and, you get some pedestrian traffic. People could see them, people can drive by, and it's a very slow speed limit that would be safe. So I think there is a safer location with less risk that we could put those up for the students as well. And then I was going to suggest, has there been any request from the schools, the lower schools, elementary, middle school, for their graduating classes to do anything for them? That too.
Yeah.
Yes, Richard, you spoke to the superintendent.
Yeah. So, and I know Keith Sanzari's been in touch as well. So yesterday, what Dr. Cafaro had asked was one, also to have some individual signs along Route 202. We talked about the safety issues involved with that, and started to develop sites around Valley Middle School and the rec complex as an alternative. So the Valley Middle School principal is going to work with Mike Guadagnino and Anthony Marcaselli on that. And then they, as of yesterday, before the governor's latest executive order, but as of yesterday, they were planning a virtual graduation ceremony that would take place at the same date and time as their regular graduation ceremony would. And it would have pre-recorded speeches and I guess some other elements in it. And they had asked us about broadcasting that on channel 77 and on our YouTube channel, which of course we said yes, was referring them over to Ryan to work out those details. So that's been the communication with Valley Middle School so far. And of course, that's still all subject to further development and, and change depending on what happens with the governor's executive order over the next month or so.
Councilman Pignatelli.
Yes, in all the conversations that we're having, a couple of things came up, and then one of them is safety. I know some of the concerns of the council people have been that if we put it at Bush Plaza, if people wanted to take a picture, how would they pull in? How many cars could fit there? Probably only 4 or 5. I know Ridgewood, what they did was they put these signs at the high school sports complex. So it might be a better or a safer idea to put this 10-foot, 5-foot by 10-foot sign at the rec field, because people can pull in there and park their car and go take the picture safely. So I'm just suggesting that, if we are going to have it, that we really should keep in mind the safety of the people that are going to be taking pictures there, and possibly the rec field, you could accommodate 20 cars down there, and I think it would be a lot safer. There's
They pull into the municipal lot, which is right a few feet away where the Remax is. People, if they really want to take pictures, they could pull into that lot. And that's the place we were talking about to put the electric charging stations. So that's not an issue. I think people are not going to just stop and park. I think people are smarter than that, and they can't park in the municipal lot. But if you feel this is the time to hold off, and it was suggested by one of the council people to get a possible rendering, and then we can vote on it at the next council meeting. That's another issue. That's another suggestion. So I'm open for more suggestions. But they specifically asked
I'm in
not for
favor.
a banner to say congratulations. They this is their request. This is their request. The request is to allow us to put up a group photo of the graduating seniors, and they want it up until July 1st. I don't know when is the high school graduation? Anybody know?
No.
But it would be,
It's been too long, I don't remember.
We would follow the same route because we like to do it in conjunction. We like to conjunction with Franklin Lakes. And so it would be suggested that we allow it up a week before graduation, and it stays up for a week after graduation. And I am sure if we ask them, they could reduce the size of the sign to 4x8 to accommodate our ordinance. It's a group photograph that they have to do something with anyway, mount it. So I guess if they originally thought one size, if we tell them we really would, we'll consider it, but maybe you should reduce the size. So what does anybody want to do? Tell me what you want. What is anybody say
I think
something?
we could go with the.
It takes time.
We should do
And his
whatever
hand
we
is
can
up.
for the
Lou's
students.
hand is up.
I agree.
So
we have
number
to
one, I
recognize the
understand what they've asked for.
Wait a minute, hand is up.
Listen, I understand, I understand what they've asked for, and I appreciate what they want to do. But at the same time, we've also thrown out some ideas that have some merit. So maybe we ask them, are any of these other ideas good? And if the answer is no, then Brian, you tell us what's involved, or if anything, with us waiving the ordinance. Let them put up a sign in Bush Plaza, and
Rich, there's one other location that I thought of, and that is at the bottom of the northbound ramp coming into Oakland on the right side where we have a traffic box. It's across from the Exxon station. There's a big open field there. That's a possibility as well. A lot of people stop on the ramp, and you could look at, the graduating students.
Yeah, but you don't want people trying to stop there and take pictures. And,
Yeah,
and I would imagine NJDOT would have an issue with it.
But I think that's municipal
right.
property, isn't it?
So let's assume the graduation's around
That's
June
correct.
22nd, June 23rd. I don't know. Usually a Thursday, right? I think it's a Thursday. Let's say it's somewhere in the 20s, June 20 something. So we have some time if we decide to follow the protocol or follow the same thing that Franklin Lakes is doing and do it a week before graduation to a week after graduation. That's 2 weeks. We can, I'm suggesting then, and so maybe let us hold off for until the next council meeting, have people reach out, you reach out, have them send us some kind of a plan, an actual rendering of some sort with an actual size that they, something, and then we can decide at the next council meeting. So what do you think? And besides, we have another public portion, people can respond to our discussion. I see a tea bag being flown around. What does that mean?
It means I'm drinking tea.
Oh, okay.
I thought you
So
were
what does
trying.
everybody think?
Your Kimmick's drinking tea too.
He's hypnotizing me, right? So what does everybody want to do?
Drink tea.
I'll follow your protocol, Mayor.
What do you think?
I think we should.
We'll go around. Councilman, Bialy, you want to wait 2 weeks? You want to wait till the next council meeting? And then we'll have, what? I can't hear you. What's he saying?
Bad.
I don't hear.
Bob is muted.
All right, we're going to you, Councilman Tellerman. No, you, John. You want to wait to the next council meeting?
I'm up to waiting for the next, I'm okay with it. I just want to know what location
Okay.
would best suit it.
Okay, Councilman Talamini,
Uh,
we're going around.
yeah, I'm truthfully, I'm fine with what they want. If they want to put up a sign, as long, it can't be so big that it's a sale and it could fly away but I'm okay with whatever they want to do with the picture of the students, put it there now. And truthfully, I wouldn't care if it stayed there until next year's graduation. This is
Right.
terrible what is going on, and the more we can recognize these kids, the better off.
Councilman Levy,
To be quite honest, I don't have a strong feeling about it one way or the other. But you know what? If they want to do it, I don't see, if it's not going to hurt anything, I don't see a problem with it.
all right, we lost Councilman Benek. Is he still around? I don't see his picture anymore.
I'm still here.
All right, what do you want to do?
I am fine with what they proposed. Again, caution what, Councilman Talamini said. It is like a sale, but I think, having an idea of what that will be, it'll be fine to put it up in Bush Plaza. But I do think for the individual pictures that they want to put, the 24 by 18s with the metal prongs, that maybe we put that somewhere like the rec complex or like where Councilman Levy suggested, just so it's not a distraction and it's a safety issue. And I like the rec complex because you can get some pedestrian traffic there, get out, take a picture next to it, and that might be better than on a main road. So I think we should
They
suggest.
were invited to put them on McBride property, on not McBride property, the McBride Field, which is owned by the borough, as because it is Oakland and Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff. Councilman Pignatelli.
Yeah, I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Now you're unmuted. Muted.
I'm okay.
Oh, so
You don't
is that a
sound
vote?
okay.
All right, so we have, I'm counting, I can't see. One,
Councilman
what about
Knapp.
Councilman Knapp, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
No.
what would you like?
All right, so I'm fine with it. My only, I'm a little confused because I was in transition from my truck to the house, so I might have lost some of this. So we're talking about an Indian Hills banner going down by Bush Plaza.
No, not a banner, a photograph of the class.
Well, but you can't just put a picture there. The picture's
It's
got
a
to be,
banner.
so it's a banner with the
It's a
picture.
picture on a banner.
Okay,
It's a
A
sign.
sign, let's say a sign.
call it whatever you want.
Thank you.
I have no problem with it. My only question is, are we going to allow the same thing when Ramapo comes and asks and Valley Middle School comes and asks? Are we going to have a string of them going down? I just want to know ahead of time. I don't really care one way or the other. I'm fine with it. But we have to realize that
Well, you heard that Valley Middle School is going to put it near the rec fields.
okay, then that's fine. And it's already been
Is
on.
that correct, Rich?
Okay, I'm good. I'm done.
All right, so then it sounds like we have a majority. So I hope during the next portion of the public portion that we have the people who are going to put up the sign to give us more exact details on the sign. And whatever you can for the children, that would be wonderful. With that, we'll move on to the resolutions. With that, we'll move on to the resolutions and ask if you want any pulled out, let me know. The first one is 2134, authorized recreation refunds. I don't have it. What's 134? What is the refunds? Does anybody have it?
Recreation refunds.
Yeah.
$1,359.
How much?
$1,359.
$1,359 total.
To
It's
whom?
four people. Alicia Haven, $78 for softball. Jessica Giordano, $1,000 field use fee. Brittany Fixler, $78 baseball fee. And Brian Vitale, $203 for baseball and lacrosse.
Okay, thank you. 2135 is to appoint an environmental commission secretary at a stipend of an annual stipend of 1,200, effective Monday, May 18th. And it is for Michael Corelli, who will replace Jerry Engelmuller, who has since retired. Resolution 2136 is consent to water quality management plan amendments, 138 Bauer Drive, and it's required by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. And it is subject to conform with the approved WQM plan. And 2137 is expanding the pixels for the borough's public access television channel. It's from the Oakland Communications Commission, for channel 77 on Cablevision, channel 45 on FiOS. With the channel is operated pursuant to a franchise for public education and government. The current resolution is Altice, formerly Cablevision, is 48 pixels. However, 480 pixels is standard definition, and 720 pixels is the minimum high definition. And this channel serves as the main means of broadcasting public meetings. And so therefore, the mayor and council to increase the resolution to 720 pixels. 2138 is the execution of an order of provisional authorization, a designation of an acting municipal court administrator between the Borough of Oakland and the Township of Borough. And we must have, this is for shared services, and it's necessary to have a standby municipal clerk, and that's with the Township of Borough. 2139 is authorized quality control inspection and testing fire company number 1, and it is to SOR Testing Laboratories, and the amount not to exceed 5,000 for the quality control inspection and testing services outlined in their February 12, 2020 proposal, Fire Company 1 Garage Project. 2140, authorize the grant application for bulletproof vests. And it's from the Bureau of Justice Assistance, is offering a grant for fiscal year 2020. And it is authorizes the application for the FY20 Patrick Leahy Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant with a requested amount of $905.65. The resolution to authorize, that's 2041, resolution to authorize estimated property tax billing for the third quarter of 2020. And that is it.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
any pulled out? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp, Councilman Levy, Councilman Pignatelli.
you didn't hear me. I didn't say anything.
You mouthed it.
Does that count?
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack,
Yes.
All right, work session, proposal for stream maintenance manual. Who's on?
That's me. So as you guys know, we did the Almond Brook repair. Part of that repair involves us having a manual to maintain it so that it doesn't ever fall back into the condition it did, so that we don't ever have to do another $500,000 repair. Basically, what the manual is going to say in short language is that during certain types of rain events, the borough's going to have to do an inspection and be able to do the minor repairs in order to keep that brook, or that section of the brook that we worked on, in the condition that it's in now. And the money's actually coming out of, I believe, the original budget for Almond Brook, because we had money left over.
Is this per year or one-time fee?
One-time fee.
Okay, Any questions? So you want this as, anybody, any questions? Otherwise, we'll put it on for the next meeting as a resolution.
Okay.
NJDOT Municipal Aid Project.
Sure, Mayor, I'll start and I'll turn it over to John if need be. This year's submittal is due, okay, I need John already. Oh, July 1st. The grant submittal is due July 1st. This is for the Standard Municipal Aid Program through NJDOT. It's an annual grant. If you recall, last year, we secured funding for sidewalks along Ramapo Valley Road, and that project's being worked on. At the same time, we had submitted for this project that we're proposing this evening, which is to repave a portion of Seminole Avenue. But due to the fact that, you know, we pretty much only knew kind of going in that we were only going to get one grant, they awarded it for the sidewalks as the higher priority. So this one was deferred. So we would like to just update it and resubmit it again this year. John, you have anything you want to add?
Can you hear me?
No.
So this will be a resolution for next meeting?
Yeah, it's about 300,000 we're asking for.
Oh, well. So this will go on a resolution?
Yes.
Got a yes and no? Yes. Okay.
That is a yes.
2020 Bergen County Open Space Grants.
Right. So with the COVID-19 pandemic, the county pushed back their grant deadlines by about a month or so. So the letters of intent for the park improvement program and flood buyout programs are due Monday, and then the grant submittals themselves are due by mid-June. So I just wanted to very briefly recap what those letter of intents are going to be, so you're aware. One, we had previously talked about continuing with phase 4 of the flood buyout program. So that's going to be one of the letters of intent that we're doing with a combination of homes on Lenape Lane and Lakeshore Drive. And the other for the park improvement this year, we'd like to start work on converting the properties that we had purchased along Roosevelt Boulevard through the flood buyout programs into a passive riverfront park. Rutgers University several years ago had worked through the county to develop a basic concept plan with some design elements on it. I've been in discussion a little bit with John, but also with Carol Peterson and the Environmental Commission. This is a project they're very much interested in. We talked about what a facility like that may look like, what some of the project elements would include. And she's going to be working with Ed Clark on coming up with a concept plan that we would be able to use for the grant application. So we'd like to propose moving forward with that. That is a 50-50 grant. We do not have a firm cost estimate developed yet. And we would certainly seek whatever outside funding was available to match against that 50% grant if we were able to secure it. So it's also possible that we would wind up kind of taking this project in phases as well. It may not be something where we do it all at once, but over a couple of different grant cycles. So just wanted to make you aware of that. That's what we're looking to move forward with. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
No. Thank you, Rich.
No?
Next is the resolution to ensure nursing home compliance. I guess that's Councilman Van Eck.
Thank you, Mayor. Would like to have this voted on next meeting to the CMS guidelines, which I see you attached here to the agenda. And would love to hear if you're planning on reporting tonight on the ad hoc committee that was formed. This would take it a step further, create an actual committee and that would work on holding checking on the accountability for the nursing homes to the CMS guidelines.
You are aware that the state has a public health committee. They have professionals. They have health agencies going in and checking on all of the nursing homes throughout the state on a regular basis. And who would in the borough is qualified to go in there? Go ahead, Councilman Levy.
No one is being asked to actually go in. That's not what this resolution would do.
Well, and I have and Councilman Van Eck, and I have a couple of things that I'm not quite sure about here. Number one, this healthcare facility, has anybody said it's done anything wrong?
That's
I
what
guess
this,
my first-
that's what we would find out.
How do you envision us finding out? Is anybody in our town qualified to assess whether or not this facility has done anything right or wrong? And actually, here's the litany of questions I have. So number one, do we have anybody qualified that's trained to do this? That's number one. Number two, Brian, and you're going to have to answer this. Are they under any obligation legally to accept our decree as to what they're doing? Aren't they a state licensed agency and therefore answerable to the state?
Right. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I did look at the resolution, and the resolution establishes a municipal investigating committee pursuant to the statute. Under that statute, there are wide power or vast powers granted to the municipality. And unfortunately, I've been involved in municipal investigating committees out of Hudson County, and it usually investigates the operation of government within the municipality itself. Here are basically my concerns. This is a state licensed facility. Certainly the borough could establish a committee, but I do not see the facility participating. And the reason I say that
participate
is that, the committee has the right to request information, to ask people to appear at hearings. And as it could get, quite cumbersome what's being done. However, if you create this committee and there is not a response, you have the power to enforce this via subpoena. If the subpoena is ignored, then you have to enforce that subpoena by bringing an action in court. So giving this some thought, I mean, the nursing home could say, look, we have better things to do, and we're not licensed or under the purview of the borough. So that's a concern that I have. Number two, I thought about it a little bit in terms of the way the municipal investigation statute is written. And as I said, there are broad powers granted to the municipality to pretty much investigate anything within its borders. However, I thought if the municipality wanted to investigate a county facility, whether it's a park or some other facility, or even a state facility, could you do it? Yeah. Does the entity have to participate? No. What I think you need to do is to find out what really is the object of this and what happens at the end of it. Whether you find something, don't find something, what do you expect to happen? And whether it could even be implemented in light of the fact that the state licenses the facilities. So those are the that need to be answered. Those are.
And I have a couple other things.
Was that Councilman Levy?
Yes. So the next thing that I'm kind of, I guess, curious about is how do we as a municipality have a resolution that tells FEMA it has to give us $25,000? I don't really understand how that works, because having dealt with FEMA, I think they'd be laughing. And I guess the other thing that I'm not really quite sure about, and no offense, Brian, is there's this $25,000 is to go to the borough attorney to do what? Not that I don't think you're not worth $25,000.
I highlighted that.
I know you did.
Oh, you did.
But under this resolution.
Wait till you get a report. Wait till you get a report from the finance committee about our budget this year.
I mean, to me, this just seems like government trying to step in and regulate something it's not qualified to do. I mean, I guess Pat got up, but Russ and quite honestly, Russ and I were talking about this earlier. Probably out of all of us, Pat, because of his previous experience, might be the most qualified, but I don't know that he's qualified to oversee this facility. I don't know that, Pat, now that you're back, were you ever trained to oversee a facility like this? Pat?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Unmute your phone.
I'm sorry. I'm not qualified to inspect them from a medical standpoint. I have inspected a nursing home through sanitary
Yes.
aspects,
Agreed.
but not through a medical.
So,
reason.
and this is my point. And
Don't
this
we
is
have
my
a health
point. This is the most qualified guy among us. And he knows he's not, not to do the level of stuff that requires paying a borough attorney $25,000. Again, to me, this looks like big government trying to step in and get involved in something it has no business in. Just my thought.
Besides, who wants to go into a nursing home now? We can't even go there.
Well, according to Grant, I'm old enough, so.
Oh, Councilman Bayali.
Yeah, Mayor and Councilman, I don't think we should be stepping our foot into the nursing home business. It's already regulated and oversaw by the state of New Jersey, and I believe the county as well. And I just believe that we would be stepping into a situation where not only are we putting ourselves out there, but we may be opening ourselves up to some liability in case something happened within the nursing home. And then they look back at us and said, well, you were supposed to be overseeing it. You're responsible, the state's responsible, and so is the county responsible. So we put ourselves in a
I
position.
would suggest, more importantly, it sounds like if Councilman Ben Eck is very interested, maybe he could contact, what's her name? I can never pronounce her name. What's her name? Dr. Persicilli, or what's her name? Kelly, thank you. I always get confused pronouncing her name. And be our contact with her and get some information from her directly. And be our conduit with the state health inspector. She's in charge of this.
Perhaps.
Wait a minute, you spoke already, Councilman Talamini. His green lights went up first.
Can I ask, you had a meeting with the health facility. Could you?
Yes, we had a Zoom meeting.
Yes, could you give some kind of report?
Here it is, you have it. Didn't you read it?
Could you, well, I would just like to hear your, what was yours?
I would ask Pat, because he called me and gave a great report.
He wrote it.
Pat called me.
You wrote it, it was beautiful.
Pat called me afterwards and gave a phenomenal, I'm not being condescending. I know it happens. But Pat actually gave a phenomenal report.
Summary.
Of meeting with, so Pat, I would ask Pat to, I'm sorry, Mayor, but I would ask Pat to.
I agree. I think, Councilman, you wrote it.
Yes, we did have the meeting with the nursing home, and I believe it was the CEO or presiding officer, the nurse supervisor, and the mayor and myself.
And
Richard.
And
was it Roy?
The chief of the first aid squad.
Oh, yes.
The OEM
Matt and Roy were there.
Roy Bauberger.
Right, Roy Bauberger and Matt.
Stephen Tippinger, president of the Board of Health.
Yeah, Steve Tiffinger, correct. And I started by asking him, are you in compliance with all of the CMS requirements? And he said, yes. I said, are you in compliance with all the State Department of Health regulations? He said, yes. I said, are you in compliance with all the county regulations? He said, yes. So we did go over some of our concerns, and he addressed them all. And I felt good that they were doing what they were supposed to. However, I did not look at records, so I can't say that I examined records.
Brian, would they have to force, would they have to, without a subpoena, would they have to show us their records?
Well, I mean, it's up to them. I mean, the statute is broad, but here's what the statute says under 25. It says, shall have appointed of a committee of its members upon any subject or matter, and then it says within its jurisdiction. So I look at jurisdiction two ways. It could be the jurisdiction of the borders of the community, or is it within its jurisdiction, meaning with respect to its review powers. So that's number one. But subpoenas are enforceable. You could, if you establish a committee and you're requesting records and they fail.
Of what?
If you fail to provide the records, you can subpoena. But if they don't respond to the subpoena, then it will have to be enforced. And the case law under the statute really deals with the subpoenas. There's not that many, but.
They could quash the subpoenas.
I'm sorry?
So that's where the 25,000 comes in. We'll be paying you to fight this in court. But I have a question for Councilman Van Eck, who wrote this, who submitted the resolution. What are you looking for?
So Mayor, first of all, Councilman Bialy, we wouldn't ask anybody to set foot in there. That's not what this does, just to clear up, because you made that comment. Mayor, I'm not sure if you're aware, but my grandmother, Santa Sanzero, my nana, passed away in a nursing home.
Yes, you told us that.
From COVID-19.
I'm sorry.
And so this is really, this hits very close to home for me. Also, I think safety of our residents and the people living in this nursing home who are residents there, are residents of Oakland. We need to think about the safety of our residents. The people who elected us.
You're not answering the question. What are you looking for? What do you think you could do going into that nursing home and looking at records?
What I think we can do, Mayor.
Let me finish.
Well, you interrupted me, but go right ahead.
Every day, I asked them about the COVID virus. They said nursing homes were required from hospitals because the hospitals were overrun to take in COVID patients. We have the state looking into it. We have the county looking into it. We have health officers looking into it. What are you going to be looking for? That's my question.
What we as the governing body are looking for is compliance to the CMS guidelines.
But if they say they're in compliance and the state says they're in compliance, what else can you be looking for?
So you saw those records, Mayor?
I saw it from the state. They told us. Yes, we saw it. Gave it out last time. Yes, Councilman. Pat saw it too.
Pat?
Yes.
Are you, and again, I'm not picking on you, but I think we would all agree that Pat is, in this matter, the most qualified. Are you qualified? Are you trained properly to evaluate their CMS
No,
compliance?
no.
So I'm trying to understand. I mean, and again, Councilman Van Eck, I understand where this is coming from for you, and I understand that your nana was close to you, and I'm sorry that it happened to her. But do you feel that this nursing home has done something wrong that requires us to try and supervise it without the proper training?
I know that the infection rate in nursing homes, in this nursing home, and deaths in this nursing home were higher than the average of the rest of our community. We do know that.
Well, wait.
No.
Wait a minute. You're talking about, hang on, Mayor. You're talking about a facility with 150 beds that were literally occupied by the most vulnerable of the most vulnerable. All right. The Borough of Oakland has 12 some odd thousand residents. We've already heard about 300 and some of them that are graduating children, students. There are people like yourself who are 30 years old or 30, 36, whatever it is, obviously way younger than me. I'm not even under what's considered the most vulnerable yet. So you've got a facility with 150 beds stacked with people who are the most vulnerable of the most vulnerable. Of course, their rate of infection is higher than everybody else's. That would go without saying. And then they were forced to take in people who were vulnerable and sick. This, that was inevitable that would happen. I mean, and still through that, you still think that these people did something wrong?
I think we should find out if they did or not and see if
How?
they.
But are you aware, by the way, are you aware the state inspected them? Was it, Pat, was it the next day or the day before? I forget.
We got the survey, Pat. Didn't we get the survey?
Yeah.
They were satisfactory in everything. They complied with all the regulations.
Wasn't that the
What
day?
are you looking for?
Wait.
Mayor,
Go ahead,
Yes.
Rich.
just to clarify, what we had received a copy of was actually the sanitary report for their cafeteria facility. At the meeting that we had with them, they did indicate that about a week before we'd met with them, they had a 4-hour in-house infection control survey with the New Jersey Department of Health, and that they were found to be compliant. That's what they had also represented to us regarding compliance with the CDC requirements.
I'm going to suggest, this is my suggestion, that Councilman Van Eck is really concerned about this particular nursing home. So
I'm concerned about all the nursing homes in the state, Mayor.
I'm talking about Oakland Rehab Center.
This
So
one
I'm
is
going
in
to
our
ask-
borders, Mayor.
I'm speaking, excuse me, I am speaking. I was going to suggest and ask you to be a conduit and contact that what's her name, Persicilli, and get the exact numbers that you're looking for. Would you be willing to do that?
I'm willing to do that if we create a committee that would go forward and do that.
There's a condition, you're not willing to do that? Well, I'm not creating committee.
I'm not saying I'll reach out to anybody, but under what authority am I reaching out? What am I asking for? What
As a
legal authority do I have?
councilman in the borough of Oakland, you would like the information about the Oakland Care and Rehab Center. You would like to know if they're in compliance, how often they're inspected, have they been inspected, and what's going on there. And then we could talk knowledgeable about what we're going to be looking for. Right now, we are going in blind, and no one's going in because we don't know what we would even be looking for. And to start setting subpoenas that they can quash will cost us money. And that's where Brian will earn $25,000 that we can't afford in this budget. So I'm asking you, as the councilman who is so interested in the Oakland Care Center, if you would be our conduit and reach out to the state, to the head, I don't even know her title. Brian, what's her title?
Commissioner of Health.
Persicilli.
Oh, the
Commissioner of Health? Brian?
yeah, that's who I believe. That's her title.
So Mayor, are you putting
So-
me on your ad hoc committee?
No, I'm asking you to be, we don't need a committee for you to contact her.
Well,
I'm
you said last
asking
meeting that you created an ad hoc committee.
You're not on it. I am asking you to be
Okay.
a conduit and contact her. And if you won't do it, I'll ask another council person if they would be willing to be, maybe Councilman Pignatelli, since he knows health is health. Would you be willing, Councilman, if Grant won't do it?
Sure, I'd be willing to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss this knowledgeably at the next council meeting.
Mayor, I never said that I wouldn't do it.
You said you would only do it if you gave us conditions. You did not.
I did
say
not give you,
do
I
it.
did not give you a condition, but I think
Yeah,
we should
did.
have the authority and move forward with this resolution at the next meeting.
So wait, should we then rewrite state law since we want to have the authority?
What? I didn't hear you.
Not asking to rewrite state law.
Well, I mean, but we're right now, whether the mayor creates the ad hoc committee or the committee that you want or adds you to the committee, the problem is that we don't have the authority in the first place to do this. You know,
I'll be reaching out tomorrow, Mayor.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Can I
And
just,
let us know
can I
what's
just
going
add
on.
something?
And it would be nice if you let me
No,
know
because
what's
Brian,
going
he
on.
just wants $25,000.
Is that what it is, Brian?
That's all Brian heard was 25.
Yeah, I have a daughter going to graduate school, so. would
There
help.
it is.
Oh, wow. She's
Oh,
graduating
But in
already?
any event, you have a couple issues here, just so that you're aware. When you review the case law under municipal investigating committees, it's typically reviewing, its own government or other aspects of government, the Board of Ed, a library, or the like. However, you do have a resolution that's listed. It was listed on work session. I mean, since it was presented by a council person, should be listed for action, and the council could vote yes or no at the next meeting. You have the resolution.
Have you spoken to the CFO to see if the funds are available?
Are you asking me that? I have
No,
not.
not you. You didn't write the resolution.
No, Mayor, if that were to move forward, we would send it to the CFO for a fund certification.
All right, if he wants this as a resolution, hopefully he'll come back with answers by the next meeting. And maybe this will be a moot point.
Well, did you get any answers when you had your ad hoc committee?
Well, I think
We
Pat
read the
answered that.
summary. We went through that already. There was a summary written by Councilman Pignatelli, and we had those people involved in the count in our town, plus we had the people from the nursing home. Yes,
Okay,
Yes,
so,
with
and
the
you
tea
feel
bag.
those
Yes, with
answers
the
were
tea bag.
satisfactory?
yes.
Well,
And they give me
Councilman,
numbers every day. They're
Councilman
very open. Yes,
Councilman
Councilman?
Pignatelli, actually, I thought Pat answered that question.
He wrote a beautiful summary. Thank you, Councilman.
You're welcome.
It was a
what we
very
did-
thorough summary.
what I did ask them were the things that I gleaned from the CMS off the internet. We asked them if they discontinued communal eating. They said yes. We asked them if they discontinued communal therapy. They said yes. We asked them if they segregated the COVID patients. They said yes. I asked them if they did early diagnosis. They said yes. I asked them if they took the temperature of their employees before each shift. They said yes. I asked them if they made sure that any deliveries to the facility were made separately so that they did not come into the facility. They said yes. So these are just the general areas that I gleaned from the CMS. Obviously, they're voluminous. I don't know them all, but those are the highlights that I touched upon with the nursing home. And I'm sure there are others, but I don't have knowledge of all the CMS regulations.
Good job, Pat.
Thank you, Pat.
So I guess Councilman Van Eck, I'm trying to understand what did we not, or what did the ad hoc committee not add? I mean, because if this is a necessary thing, then we should do it, but I'm trying to understand it, and I don't right now. So what should the ad hoc committee have asked that they did not ask?
I wasn't part of the ad hoc committee, so I don't know.
Well,
But Pat's
Pat just
report was fantastic.
So if Pat's report, do you feel that Pat's report was complete?
Well, we don't have any records that I've seen.
Yeah, we didn't ask records from the nursing home, correct?
And they're not, but apparently they're not required by law to give them to us.
Correct.
And then the other question is, even if they gave them to us, I would imagine they'd be somewhat limited by privacy rules. Certainly couldn't be anything involving any patients, correct?
Correct. You cannot mention their names, correct?
So I guess and then if you would, Councilman Benek, what is the $25,000? And again, no offense, Brian, for the attorney for?
What's that? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, what
Okay.
the $25,000?
Yes, to send these letters to do the legal work to ensure their compliance with the CMS guidelines.
Wait, so we're going to give Brian $25,000 to send some letters? Again, no offense.
And again,
Brian.
it would be up to, so if we did have to have a subpoena and things did escalate, that's where it would come into play.
And what are you going to subpoena? Do you know what you're asking for?
The records. He wants
What
the records.
Records of what?
Their compliance with CMS guidelines.
Jimi
We got
Hendrix
it.
at
We got
Woodstock.
the letter. I told you, if you're willing to contact
I said I'm willing.
Commissioner of Health and ask her for those records. And if they don't have the records, then this is something to talk about. But if they already have the records from the state, from professionals who know what they're looking for, then why would we spend no offense, Brian, why would we spend $25,000 on Brian when the budget is so tight to begin with?
Because it comes down to the safety of our residents, and that's the leadership that
How
we
is it the
need to
safety
show.
of our residents? And
So
the
to make
answer
sure they
is,
comply with the regulations. To make sure
well,
they comply.
we're
with-
asking them. I'm asking him to get the records from the state, not through the nursing home, but from the state.
Correct. You know, just to start off, Richard said that they did an infectious control inspection. That is one thing you can ask for because it doesn't mention anyone's names. It will tell them, it will tell you what procedures they went through for infectious control. So that would
We
be,
could ask them for that.
yeah, that would be my recommendations to ask at least for
So
that.
maybe Councilman Pignatelli, could you ask? You wouldn't know how to ask that. Could you ask that? In the meantime, Councilman Benek is going to get the information from the state to see if they did make the infectious control investigation.
These are things that the ad hoc committee hasn't done yet.
Correct.
Well, this is what I'm asking you to do, is contacting the state commissioner.
Will do.
Are you willing to do that or not?
I already said yes.
Okay, then we'll move on. At this point, new business. I have something that was brought up. I don't know if it's new business or old business, but many years ago, I don't know, Lisa was saying it might be 2 years ago, a young girl who lives near Councilman Levy. Councilman, are you listening? Do you remember the young
No.
girl who wanted to have chickens on her property?
Oh, the one around the corner, yeah.
Do you remember what we did? Because I have another resident who said
Yes.
we never followed up on it.
That's not true. Actually, I believe we did. So we had, and I guess, Brian, maybe you'll remember, we had an old ordinance going back to like the 50s or 60s about pigs, and somehow the chickens came under that. So we modified the ordinance to exclude the chickens. What the specifics were, I don't remember, but we did actually follow up on it.
No, we didn't want to exclude chickens.
No, we modified the ordinance so that she could in fact have the chickens.
Oh, so we allow chickens.
My recollection, Mayor, my recollection is that
remember?
we limited the number of chickens they could have.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was my recollection.
Brian took the existing ordinance and he shaped it and formed it so the young girl can continue to cultivate her chickens.
So we have to
Yeah.
find the minutes from that meeting to find out what we voted on to the limited number of chickens. Lisa, could you check on that for us?
Well, you
Yes,
should
I
have
will.
the revised ordinance.
Thank you. All right, with that, any other new business or old business?
I have old business. I have old business, Mayor.
I have new business,
Okay.
and I have new business. So I'll go first.
Sure.
Just talk about the parks, phase 2. So we did implement phase 1. We voted on that. And I'm talking about phase 2 of the proposed reopening of Oakland parks. So the trial period for phase 1 is going very well, as we all know. And I believe we should move to the second phase, which is opening up batting cages and tennis courts, still recommending social distancing.
We can't, the state won't allow us.
It's not true.
It's not?
No, I mean, other towns are doing this, so.
The other towns are doing it, but are we allowed to do it?
Mayor,
I'll check tomorrow with, Rich, we'll check tomorrow with our governor's rep.
Okay.
Yeah, please. So again, just recommending that we open up batting cages and tennis courts while continuing to encourage social distancing.
I thought there were only certain, I thought it was private tennis courts and it had to be singles.
And then I guess there's no net game.
I guess you played tennis for a while.
My understanding that
Good tea.
apparently public tennis courts could be open, but private tennis courts couldn't. It was a very strange
I thought it was the other way around, Brian, no?
I mean, this came up in Wayne where, both public and private courts are open.
But didn't you hear that it only could be singles?
There are restrictions, but I don't know what they are.
I will find out, Richard. We'll call the
Yep,
governor's
taking
rep
note.
tomorrow.
Yep,
Right,
we'll
thank
follow
you.
up.
So we want to know about 10 batting cages and tennis courts. You got
Thank you.
that? Okay, anything else? Committee reports.
No, old business.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mayor, if you remember at I think it was the last meeting, we brought up the pump station at, was it Huber Lake?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Councilor Levy's been taking care of it.
I received 2 letters from concerned residents about it. I know you had said to the lady who questioned it, that you would have a meeting with them and that John Ukimic, I believe, would have a rendering by then to show them. I just want to make sure we have some follow-up on them because I got the letters personally sent to me and I'd like to see if there's any follow-up.
Yes.
Pat, if I might,
Councilman, Councilman Levy's been going there and talking to residents individually.
So-
I get the emails and I told them, as I promised, we're trying to set up a meeting, but the meeting has to be so that I'm available, Lou's available, John Bialy on the committee is available, John Ukimic's available, Giselle's available, and Kevin
All right.
Boswell.
Pat, the quick and easy answer is this. I'm guessing it's the same resident who sent the entire mayor council a letter about 2 weeks ago.
Yes, but I got an additional one. I don't
Right,
remember the
so-
lady's name.
Okay, so number one, I addressed her concerns in a response. She did not respond back. I
Mhm.
then went up to Huber Lake to look at the property,
Mhm.
wound up talking to a couple different families that were there that day.
Mhm.
I explained to them what apparently the person who wrote us the letter had led them to believe was that the borough was going to open a facility there that was going to basically occupy most of that piece of property, and that it was going to be another wastewater treatment plant. I explained to them that in fact, it's not a wastewater treatment plant. It's a pump station whose sole purpose is to relieve the wastewater treatment plants that are above it from operating so that we can turn those into pump stations so that we can no longer have effluents going from these wastewater treatment plants into the ground, into Huber Lake. So it's something of a water quality issue. This facility is going to go in the upper corner of the Huber Lake property, fairly close to the road. It's going to be I think it's about a 16 by 20 building with a slightly larger fence around it to allow a crane to be in there to work if it ever has to, and a driveway going to the road. So it's going to be nowhere near the lake. It's not even going to interfere with the volleyball net that they have set up on our property there. When I explained this to the residents that were there that day, they were very pleased. Their concern was that there's, I guess, survey marks. When Boswell went there to survey it, they put survey marks, to mark the corners of the property. So I think what happened was these people saw these survey markers out of the extremities of the property and just assumed we're going to build something big there. We're not. It's a small facility. The actual pumping apparatus is underground. The only thing that's going to be above ground is an ultra quiet generator that will have to operate once a week or so for about 10 minutes just to cycle like any home generator would. It's going to be in a building with a sandwich construction. It's going to have a concrete wall, then it's going to have insulation, and then it's going to have a concrete or block wall inside of it. So I am told it will be virtually impossible to hear this thing unless you are standing on the building.
Well, the one thing
I was told I have a generator in my house, and I was told my generator in my house is going to be louder than the pump station generator.
Well,
And I can barely hear my generator when it has to
it
run
will, because this one's
every week.
inside.
But,
The one thing that, the one
but
thing. they
Councilman,
mentioned in
Wait,
the-
wait.
Councilman, I promised the residents we would have a meeting. As I said, Councilman Levy has spoken to individual people, but I had asked Richard to please set up a meeting with the residents around there.
Pat, what's your question?
Thank you. The two letters mentioned specifically that they had hoped whatever went there would be some type of evergreen screening so that it didn't detract from their property.
We have already, so just to answer that question, there's a fence going up around this facility. Not a big fence, but a fence. We can certainly put any kind of landscaping that anybody wants around the fence, non-issue. By the way, here's the big plus side for that neighborhood. What is going to happen is coming down that road is going to be a gravity feed. So that when and if we get our phase 2 for sewers, that area is within our sewer service area. So assuming we get our sewer authorization for phase 2, all those houses on Franklin will actually be able to become on sewers instead of septics. Granted, that's 5-10 years away at best, but there is still an upside for them. The other thing that's going to happen is, and John, since you're probably the most environmentally conscious one, Yakimic, these wastewater treatment facilities are allowing effluents to go into the aquifer, which then winds up in, at some point, some of it goes to Huber Lake. By putting this pump station and taking off those facilities and converting those facilities into transfer pump stations, we are basically closing the sanitary system. There will be no more effluents going into Huber Lake from any of the wastewater treatment plants, because it will all go down into the pump station and into the feed line to go down the road into Franklin Avenue.
That's why we need a meeting for the residents so that they would see this. And supposedly Boswell was going to prepare something. We could have a Zoom meeting for the residents involved. And that's what we're worried. We're trying to get.
Wait, Pat, what's your other question? I'm sorry.
Me? No, that was.
Yeah, you had another question?
No, that
you said there were two questions.
No, there was two people.
Oh, two people.
Two people, one question?
Yeah.
That's it.
Who requested that the
John wants to speak.
Okay, are you okay with the answer? You understand it and everything?
John Bialy?
Cool.
Yeah, the only thing, Pat, the biggest thing that was the biggest misunderstanding is that these people who are not part of the wastewater treatment plant, they thought, well, you're knocking that one out of business, you're going to put another one over here. They thought they were being replaced with another wastewater treatment plant. Right. And I think Lou took enough time out of his day to explain to the people that were there that this is not what's happening. We're turning it into a pump station to transfer all the sewage out of town.
I can't imagine any scenario whereby the New Jersey DEP would allow us to put a wastewater treatment plant in close proximity to a lake.
Right.
So it won't be.
I think it was
they're all good.
They would send the DEP SWAT team
So
here.
now you know the response. We were trying to schedule a meeting. I had asked Richard to have Kathy find out when we could schedule a meeting for the resident. It'll be a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, Mayor Kathy will be in touch with you to get some names and numbers and to work on the schedule.
Well, we got to get from Boswell, Boswell and Giselle and John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At this point, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, we didn't do the council reports.
Right.
Oh, who wants to go first? I don't know where everybody is. Pat, you want to go first?
Sure. The Public Events Committee met and we discussed the carnival, as you had mentioned earlier in the meeting, Mayor. The only other time that the carnival people could give us would be the 24th of June, which we weren't sure would even be allowed by then, or Halloween weekends, which would interfere too much with our Halloween parade and other activities. The Board of Health met, have nothing to report from the Board of Health. The Environmental Commission. The Environmental Commission is suggesting a townwide cleanup, encouraging residents to go out on their own and perform cleanup on an area of their choice using social distancing guidelines, and take and send a photograph to the Environmental Commission so that they could post to the community what areas were being cleaned up. So that's from the Environmental Commission, nothing from the Green Team right now. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Van Eck?
Nothing on the planning board. The meeting was postponed for this month, and we'll see what happens for June. Right now, they plan on having the meeting, but if things continue in this direction, we'll end up postponing that as well. The Oakland Communications Commission is happy to announce we now have 4 episodes of the new program, This Week in Oakland. It's fantastic. If anyone has seen it, I want to thank everyone in town who's been working on it, who's edited videos, submitted content. It's been overwhelming. This is a really new, happy, exciting thing and a silver lining amongst all of the hardship during COVID-19. So just want to appreciate all our volunteers. And the latest episode airs every day on Oakland at 9 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. And then, of course, on our YouTube channel. Volunteers are still need. Is that?
Nice job, Grant.
Well, all the volunteers, I take 0 credit for that. Just lucky enough to report the good news. Thanks, but thanks, Lou.
You're a politician. Take the credit. Come on, you got it. It's part of our job description.
Volunteers are still needed for the TV committee and the newsletter committee. Just want to thank both committees for doing a great job and call out one volunteer, Liz Laurenti, who does an amazing job with the newsletter and had some really emotional, very moving features in the latest newsletter. So thank you, Liz, for what you do. If you have something to submit, occ@oakland-nj.org. And please, if you're interested in getting involved, that same email address. And then lastly, if there's any hometown heroes among us, as we know there are, if you want to put something out there, nominate a friend or a neighbor in Oakland who's just doing something awesome or amazing, email Liz at oaklandcrossroads@gmail.com to share that story to be featured in a newsletter. The Recreation Committee still holds out hope to have baseball, softball, tennis, and lacrosse season for Oakland's youth. They put together a contingency plan to run these programs into the summer if it is necessary. There's no need to rush or cancel anything at this time. Cheerleading, football, and soccer signups are online at www.oaklandrec.org. Tennis courts will be undergoing resurfacing, tentatively scheduled for this September. More to come on that. And this projects and many other projects do not cost the Oakland taxpayers anything. It's all paid for through the grants and the Recreation Trust. So thank you to the Rec Commission for that as a taxpayer. And that's my report.
Thank you. John Yakimic, are you shaking your head listening? Are you listening to music? You look like you're dancing in your seat.
He's a big AC/DC guy.
No, I'm just hearing these things, looking at the agenda and things I have to do. And yes, the tennis court is on my agenda to make sure it gets done by September.
Good, thank you.
That's all.
Councilman Levy, you're next in surplus.
Okay, let's see. For sewer and water, I was going to touch on the Huber Lake situation. I think we've addressed it. I would say that the person who did send the letter to the mayor and council, I have sent her 2 responses. I have not heard back. So I don't know.
I'll look for it on mine.
I don't know if this issue is now a dead issue or not. If she still feels, or the neighborhood still feels they'd like a meeting, I think we should do it. But to have one that they may not
think we
need
have to have a
anymore.
meeting. We promised the neighbors a meeting. You didn't speak to everybody, and I did say we would have a meeting.
I did respond to her, and I think it was to all, or asked her to certainly share it with her group. So I'd like to hear from her if she's around. I think from the capital projects, we did ask Boswell Engineering to prepare a bid specification for Patriots Way Bridge. That bridge is continuing to deteriorate. We cannot not do anything. And, you know, we've got probably, Boswell's got 4 months worth of work to do just to get us, I would say, shovel ready, John. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, a lot's going to depend, as you know, with us dealing with the utility companies, getting our permit application to the DEP, providing us with the permit, meeting with the County of Bergen, making sure what we're doing positions us for them, hopefully, to take over the bridge eventually. There's a lot of third-party people we have to get on board during that period of time.
So what John's saying is it takes more than 4 months. It's not his fault.
Well, talking about that schedule.
One
Luke,
sec, Pat.
what I like to say is we want to be in a position where we're closing that bridge for the least amount of time as possible. And the timing is such that you want to close the bridge probably going into the winter, and then coming out of the winter, going into the spring, when you're doing your concreting,
correct,
when you're doing your asphalt approaches. So that gives us the window from when our proposal is accepted by the council to that period to get this design done and ready to go shovel ready.
Right. Yes, Pat.
Just like to make a comment, and we all know of all the financial incentives that Congress is coming out with. I know the president had said that he wanted to propose a $2 trillion infrastructure bill that would provide money to repair bridges and roads. So hopefully we would have plans ready in the event that the federal government says we have $2 trillion. Does anybody want to
yes
bridge?
So Pat, to answer your question,
we have that ready.
Part of what Boswell's proposal included was money for John to continue to search out grants and financial opportunities to help us pay for this. So that is already in the proposal. Boswell's proposal totals about $210,000, and that gets us from where we are right now to bid specifications, or I guess shovel ready, if you want to call it that. Shovel ready is what we need to be in order to really start seriously going after monies.
Right.
So we have to get to that point, or else because otherwise it's too ambiguous. Once we have a plan, this is the bridge we want, this is the plan. This bridge will hopefully get us to Bergen County DOT to take over the bridge. And again, even if they don't do it, we're building a 75-year bridge, not a 25-year bridge.
Pat, we get information all the time, and Richard and Michael and I are monitoring all the available possible grant money. Yes, we're very aware of it. Thank you.
All right.
Are you finished, Lou?
At the next, I was just going to say at the next council meeting, we are going to ask everybody to approve this so we can get this moving. Kevin was very nice about doing a lot of work sort of on the arm at my request so that we can get ahead of the curve. Because again, as John said, it was very important that we put ourselves in a position that we can do this and be dealing with concrete and asphalt, not in the wintertime, because it's best not to do that if we don't have to. I did reach out to the homeowners association at Ramapo Reserve so that I can go through with them, you know, what they can expect, and so that the Larry, the director of the homeowners association there, can speak to the residents so that we get all our ducks in a row. This will include obviously the temporary modifications to Glen Gray Road. From the flood commission, I think the mayor mentioned the flood seminar that we are doing on Friday at 12 noon.
Yes, I announced in my 6 o'clock message.
So that's going to be a 30-minute Zoom meeting with Nick Agnoli, our floodplain manager, myself, and Tom Little, who is another certified floodplain manager. We're going to just quickly discuss with residents some things that they can do to help try and get their flood insurance down. And just to give you an idea of what we've done so far, one resident actually, I guess, Russ, your friend, we actually saved
Glen
them.
Gray Road.
Yes, I saved them. I didn't do it. I told them what they could do, and through their actions, they saved a little bit better than $5,000 on their flood insurance because their property was miscategorized by the National Flood Insurance Program. So, you know, this program that we're putting together is going to let people call in, ask questions, let them sign up for free flood evaluations. There has been a special email address set up at Oakland. It's on the website. I forget what it's called. Oakland at whatsmyflood.com. I don't remember. But you can go on the Oakland Borough website. You can sign up for the Zoom meeting, or you can just call in randomly. But it'll be Friday at 12 noon. It'll be about 30 minutes of a presentation, and then we'll open for questions from anybody that has questions.
Thank you.
And I am now finally done.
And now that leads to Councilman Tellerman. You're right next to him in the squares. I feel like it's, you know, that was the Hollywood squares.
I'm above him, actually, on my squares. I wonder if you can change that.
Okay. So schools, the preliminarily, the budget has passed. It should be certified on Friday, but they had the election on Tuesday, and the budget passed. And then also just with the school graduations, I was watching the high school board meeting the other night, and understandably, parents are upset, and some of the students are upset, and I just feel like they're directing their anger towards the board members and the superintendent and the principals, and just know that the principals, the superintendents, the board members, this isn't something that they wanted to happen, and they're doing what they can to make this as special as they can. You know, they were all planning up until the last second to do a real graduation, and then the state sent out the letter saying no real graduations. You could do virtual graduations. And you know, just because maybe you don't hear about something that they're doing, they're working very hard, and they're trying. This isn't something that they're happy with, and just know that they're working hard, trying to get something accomplished. And then finance, we had another meeting this morning, actually, that went a little better than this meeting, but there's more changes to the budget that we have to do because of things that have changed, and we'll report back to the council, and we're probably going to have to amend what we propose going forward at the previous meeting. Is there anything else you want to add with that, Rich?
You know what? We had such a nice meeting this morning. The internet, even with the PowerPoints, went so smoothly.
Yeah, completely different experience this evening compared to this morning. I don't know if it's the number of people on the call or just a lot more bandwidth usage tonight. I don't know.
I blame it. Let's blame it on Mike and Rich.
Okay.
But sure. But yeah, I would just add to what Russell said. You'll see some changes coming both in terms of revenue. We've done some additional forecasting, especially how it relates to our interest income. And that's going with the anticipated amount there is going to need to be reduced rather significantly. And we're looking at offsetting cuts on appropriations in ways we can further bring down the estimated increase as well. So we'll be preparing a schedule for you showing all of that and how it all works together. And as Russell indicated, it will require a separate hearing on the amendment, which means that final adoption will be delayed until June. We'll still have the normal public hearing that's already scheduled for the next meeting. That'll proceed. We'll ask for your approval to introduce a budget amendment. That'll then have its own hearing at the first meeting in June, and hopefully we can adopt by then. But I kind of liken this to the adage of trying to nail Jello to a wall. This budget, just things keep on changing over and over, and every time we turn around, there's something new, or we're getting some more bad news from the state in terms of what we can expect, perhaps in terms of state aid, and You know, how are we going to hedge our bets with this type of revenue stream? And so, you know, we continue to work at it. I think David's been doing a fantastic job keeping on top of things. I know he sent out an update on tax collections, which are now only running about 3.5% behind last year, which is actually very good. And so more to come, unfortunately, but we'll be getting some more information out to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. And then, with the library, we just want to remind you that the digital library is open 24/7. There's lots of activities going on. There's you could rent movies free of charge, rent audio books free of charge. You just go on the website. The website is
look at that.
Oakland, New Jersey library.org. So if you need to visit them, there's lots of activities to do there, and it's great for your kids if you're looking for your kids to do something during the day.
That is excellent, Russ.
All right, thank you. And
that
then,
was a great idea. Did you see everybody see his sign?
Yes.
So could you make one of those for my flood meeting?
Sure. And then just I had a resident approach me. She was walking through the neighborhood within 6 feet. And she was talking about fireworks. She had mentioned she has a child in her home who suffers from epilepsy. And when she gets startled, she could have a seizure, and it's very difficult for them to go through. And she was just saying that there just seems to be more people setting off fireworks within the neighborhood. And she says she calls the police, and the police, you know, sometimes they'll come, sometimes they won't. You know, it's what's going on, and she understands that there's not much she could do, because you know, you go out and you hear it, but you don't know where it's coming from, and who knows if they're the fireworks that you buy at Walmart or ones that you got to go to Pennsylvania to buy. But just think before you set off fireworks, and you know, there could be somebody around that. Just think about your neighbors. She was very upset, and it upset me, and I don't know what else we could do except to try to think of your neighbors before you do things like that.
People's dogs, don't forget those.
Yeah. And then just personally, I have 3 kids at home. They're all middle school down to grammar school, and we're just looking for things for them to do. And so I just thought I'd share with something that we did with our neighbors. We're very close with our neighbors, and our kids are dying to hang out with them. And so 2 weekends ago, it was a very, very nice. It was warm out, and I saw the girls next door playing. And so I said to my son, I said, go get the hose. So we got the hose, and then we proceeded in having the greatest water fight I've ever been involved with over our 6-foot fence, all while observing social distancing. There was umbrellas involved, there was buckets, water pistols, you name it. We had a great time. So what I'm asking is that maybe you guys, anyone with different ideas, you could email me at oakland-nj.org with your ideas, and I could share them at the next council meeting for things that we could do for our kids that observe social distancing, and just get them to enjoy their friends, because I know my kids are missing their friends. I mean, I'm missing my kids' friends, and it's just hard. I feel bad for these kids. So whatever we could do, I would appreciate it. So again, my email is talamini@oakland-nj.org. Thank you. That's it, Mayor.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
we're going to give you all the websites for the next council meeting, Russ, and have you make signs for everybody.
All right, you got it.
Okay.
I'll send you the bill for the ink.
Oh, okay. Councilman Bialy.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. At the senior center, we're still continuing the volunteer food shopping program for seniors and those in the community with disabilities. If anyone needs assistance, they can reach out to the senior center at 201-405-7731 or by emailing seniors@oakland-nj.org. There's also a free host of a free Zoom meeting for fitness classes. So everyone in the community is open for this. Everyone can participate. Those interested are asked to register on Community Pass. More information on how to register is available on the Oakland Facebook page. Our classes are Tuesdays from 1 to 2 p.m. Fit for Life, which is cardio, toning and balance class, and Thursdays from 3 to 3:45 p.m., which is a Zumba class. Due to current circumstances, the Senior Center Arts Class Annual Art Show at the library has been canceled and a virtual art exhibit has been set up so members of the community can view and enjoy their beautiful artwork. A flyer with the information will be available on social media this week. At the DPW, having conversation with Anthony, they're having their full complement of DPW workers back to work next week, and they'll be out filling potholes. Anthony told me they had one fellow go around at night and discovered that we have 27 streetlights that are out. If anyone knows of any streetlights in your neighborhood that need to be fixed, please give a call to Anthony at 201-337-8104. That's all for my report tonight, Mayor.
Have you, Anthony was going to find out, Richard and Councilman Bialy, about another shredding day.
Yeah,
Since
we spoke about that. He's going to try to get the next available day because I know I got shut out. I got there about 12:15, 12:30. It was supposed to go on to 1 o'clock and the cupboard was bare. There was nobody in the parking lot. So
Well, the truck was full.
Well, that's what they say. We'll have to find out about that. I have a buddy who used to do the shredding in Oakland who says it would take 8 hours to fill that truck. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he says it should hold 10 ton and it would take a long time to fill a truck like that up. So we're going to have another day in the near future as soon as we get an open date with the shredder, and we'll have another shot at getting rid of those important papers that you don't want to throw away in the garbage.
Thank you. Is Bobby still on? Bobby Knapp?
Yes.
Where is he?
I'm here.
Just slide your screen over.
Slide the screen over to the left, Mayor.
There you are.
Here I am.
Do you have a report?
I do.
Okay.
So I have just some messages from all three police, fire, and ambulance departments. From the police department, from Chief Sanzari. During this COVID-19 pandemic, the Oakland Police Department has been responsible for, among other things, enforcing criminal and traffic laws, maintaining order, and enforcing and monitoring compliance of COVID-19 related executive orders. It has been difficult and placed an added burden on the police department and its officers. However, we would like to thank the Oakland residents, the businesses, and the community for their compliance during this difficult time. A significant majority of the residents and businesses have been following the governor's executive orders, which creates a safe environment for the residents and officers alike. We appreciate your efforts and compliance. Hopefully, we as a community will regain a sense of normalcy soon. Thank you for your cooperation. So that from a personal side, that says a lot for the borough. I mean, there's a lot of opinions out there about what government's doing, what they're not doing. But I think when you're affected by this, losing either a relative or a very close friend, you think differently. So it sounds to me like we as a town are doing very well, and I congratulate everyone in town and thank you for doing that. For the fire department, from Chief Dyes, the Oakland Volunteer Fire Department regularly responds to calls ranging from carbon monoxide and smoke alarms to mutual aid requests for assistance by our neighboring towns, traffic incidents, including entrapments and fires of various sizes. As I'm sure many of you know, our department has suffered losses. We lost one of our beloved chiefs, 33-year member Gary Walker, and a 55-year former member and our former secretary, Joseph Gallup, both to COVID-19. Our department buildings are currently closed except for emergency responses, so only the bays are open for the engine bays, for the apparatus. Our losses notwithstanding, the fire department continues to respond to calls 24/7 in our homes, in businesses, on our highways and roads, in our neighboring communities. Our department continues and will continue to respond to all emergencies and calls for assistance. And the same kudos goes out to the borough residents for helping the firefighters anytime they're around. They're wearing masks, they're wearing gloves, they're going in people's houses. They had a fire alarm the other night in the Oakland Care Center. They were very, very, very careful when they went and investigated that. So the firemen, as long as the police and the ambulance people, are continuously putting themselves in harm's way. So any cooperation that we get from the public as far as safety goes a long way. And from Chief Goodrich from the First Aid Squad. The Oakland First Aid Squad would like to thank the residents of Oakland for your acts of kindness and generosity, generous donations to the squad. We participated in a drive-through event to send off 175 federally contracted FEMA ambulances from around the country that were in New Jersey last month to assist local agencies in EMS calls. The squad continues to operate with less than 20 active riding members and is always accepting new members, new membership classes. EMT classes are free and should resume again in the summer. Please visit our website, oaklandfas.org, for more information on this and any future events that they may be hosting, Chief Goodrich. So that's my public safety. We did the dog park for my Great Oak Park meeting. The only thing that I want to remind everyone is it looks like the governor is slowly starting to loosen things up as far as businesses. I believe some non-essential businesses will start being permitted to open. And all of us, I believe every one of us, has been pounding Amazon like crazy because we couldn't go anywhere. So now that we have the opportunities to start shopping local, I think it would be a nice thing to do if we all did that to help our local businesses out. And a lot of those people are also our residents. In addition, when you do go to a store, please wear a mask. I recommend personally wearing gloves. Just be careful when you take things off, do it in the right way. Spray your stuff down if you feel you need to. Just be extra careful, especially those with underlying conditions and the elderly. So. And that is my report. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public. Oh, wait a minute. Councilman.
Mayor?
Yes.
Just to continue what Councilman Knapp said about the PPE. Again, you all know I walk down Ramapo Valley Road. I find gloves being thrown on the sidewalk. I find masks on the sidewalks. So just to continue what Councilman Knapp was saying about PPE, please, if you're driving your car, I carry a Ziploc bag with me. I put my gloves and my mask in a Ziploc bag. Do not throw them out the window. Nobody wants to pick them up. Do not throw masks out the window. Do not throw masks in the shopping carts. I went up to ShopRite. There must have been 6 or 8 gloves in the shopping cart that I picked. So please be considerate of your fellow residents. Throw your own waste away and don't leave it for other people to be exposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Hi,
wish-
Mayor. Resident Luis Badgie.
Oh, there you are.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, thank you all. So I want to clarify the situation with the sign because what originally started has morphed into other items because of new information. So the original intention of this sign in Bush Plaza, we were asking to do something special for the kids, the students at Indian Hills, because it is located in Oakland, because there's so much going on. And so many other areas and other school districts had already done things and put signs up for their children. So when I found, and I don't know if you can see the size of this picture, this is the picture we're talking about.
Can anybody see it?
It is every senior.
The video may not be on. Oh, there it is.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see it.
Okay.
That's the graduating class.
This is the graduating class at Indian Hills. When I got in touch with the photographer about this picture, he was willing to give us permission to make a banner. He couldn't do it himself, but I thought what a great idea to take this picture, who I have confirmed with Dr. Vaca includes every senior, and put it on a large banner. We thought 5 by 10 because it's a very large picture. And we could put it into town with a sign that says, congratulations, class of 2020. Would give them at least something that they could visualize to celebrate them on a small level. We did understand that there were other things being done, but we were not privy to that information. The only request I do, and Dr. Vaca has agreed, that if this banner is approved, he would send out an email asking if any parents did not want their children's face to be on there, that the photographer is willing to blur that out, so that we understand that.
Louise, if I may add, when Melissa first called me, I said, not all seniors are 18 years old. There are some minors. So to make sure that those parents would give you permission, that they don't object.
Yes, ma'am. So Dr. Vaca has agreed that whenever you all approve, if this gets approved, he will handle getting the emails out to all of the parents so that we make sure that if anyone has a concern, we would address that immediately. And
I think it was approved.
He said, well, did you guys approve this banner? So I wasn't sure if it was voted on, but once you guys give us the okay, Dr. Vaca will take care of it on his side. And I was choosing.
Richard, didn't we approve it tonight?
You did. Yeah.
So tomorrow, Dr. Vaca will send that. We'll send that out so we can make sure. This was something we could do very, very quickly. Since we had, and I appreciate the approval, most definitely, and I'm not trying to complicate things, but now I have to tell you, since this conversation, there's Ramapo parents saying that whose children live in Oakland as well, that are saying, can we get a sign as well? And I'm not sure how that works. The problem is she hasn't heard back from the school. And for some odd reason, the photographer is different for Indian Hills and Ramapo, because I've already reached out to him to ask that. So I can't speak much more on that, except that if you guys are wanting, we would figure out a way.
What's Franklin Lakes doing? I'll have to talk to.
So that's the other thing. We have also since found out, and it's still, I don't have full details, but I do know that I believe, and if there's somebody from Project Graduation on this, they may be able to speak on this, that the banners that you're referring to that are being done in the other towns are actually a joint effort, I think, between the schools, the PTSOs, and Project Graduation of both schools. So their intention, and it is supposed to be a surprise, so the banners just appear. Their intention, as I understand it, was to put one in every town. Now, Franklin Lakes is okay with it, and Wyckoff is apparently, they told me, was okay with it. But obviously they're not governed by they have more space to do this. So that's where, based on.
What are they doing?
Well, they're putting a large banner that's supposed to say, congratulate, something to our seniors, a nice sentiment, supposed to have the Ramapo logo and the Indian Hills logo on it. And this is what they were supposed to be giving to our schools, our students. The problem is, now that I'm hearing that, I don't know where you're going to put this in Oakland. I feel like we may have to revise this, and maybe we can use this banner or this space to put 2 different banners, one for Indian Hills and one for Ramapo, so that they get a banner in Oakland where the other 2 towns will already have one. So I apologize for the confusion, but this is what's been coming out of all this.
Well, I think this changes it. What does everybody think?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to be honest. This is all new information. I feel like if we could work together to put the 2 banners up in that area, one for Indian Hills and one for Ramapo.
I don't know where you're going to find the room. I can't carry, Bush Plaza is only so big.
So what if we could definitely make it small. We have two choices, I think. If
I
they,
think the council will have to discuss this when you get
This
more
is another
information. What
request
I'm
for
gonna have to
something
talk to
different.
Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff and see exactly what they're doing. Because I had said to the mayors, we had all decided that we would all do it together and not one try to outdo the other, but we would be equal in each town because it is a regional high school. We do have 3 towns of students going to the 2 high schools.
right, and understood. And when we thought about this banner, we were not privy to that information because they were trying to do it I'm not on that committee. Most people were not on any committee. It was a small group of people having this conversation between the 2 schools. So in light of that information, at some point we have to figure out what we're doing and where we can put it. Because they thought was going to go overhead on 202, but it wasn't until we received the email from Ms. Duncan.
That's why the mayor of Franklin Lakes, what do you mean you're putting a banner across 202? I said, no, we're not.
Right. So now there's a bigger confusion. We really just want to support our children and put something up. And this was something we could do quickly because I already had the approval and it's very inexpensively. But again, now it just is more complicated because of the other issues. So I apologize in advance, but we were not aware of any of this when we discussed this with you.
I don't know what to say.
Mayor,
Anybody?
if I may, because I think the council very solidly wants to do whatever it can to support the students and support the parents in this endeavor to recognize the students on their graduation. Maybe we do just hold this for 2 weeks, let the parents go back with the PTOs and the administrations of Ramapo Indian Hills, work something out collectively and come back. We can do this again in 2 weeks. There's really no rush from that perspective in terms of doing something before graduation. But to the extent that there's changes that are coming and there's more discussions going on between the groups on the school side, let them kind of figure out and come up with one unified approach to it, and then come back to us.
Okay. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hi, Mayor. Yes, Rosa Kilpatrick.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? I'm Rosa Kilpatrick, 58 Rutgers Drive. I'm an Indian Hills parent. I was wondering if we can maybe approve, 2 banners just in case we can somehow maybe get both schools to do this type of photo type banner. I know that we're saying there's a lack of space. And it's very hard for us, especially as parents, to even get a hold of anybody. Everybody's trying to make things a surprise, but in the meantime, all these other towns are putting up banners everywhere. And, you see all these photos coming up and our town still has literally nothing up for these kids. I mean, they feel like they are the forgotten kids at this point in time. So I'm wondering if, we're going to say we're going to table it for 2 weeks. Then in 2 weeks, we're going to say, okay, we're going to discuss it and then move out 2 more weeks. And by the time we're done, June is gone. We won't be able to get these banners done. And these kids will definitely be the forgotten class of 2020.
Well, you have to agree that this is all of a sudden we're being hit with this when it just started with a request and the council all voted that they approved the request. But now you're saying 2 banners. And I think this is something that we have to get information about the size of the banners. We don't know if Bush Plaza can accommodate that.
If we
Anybody have anything to say?
If we remain within the standard, whatever size you originally had in the ordinance, I'm not sure what the size of that was. Can we fit the 2 banners?
Well, that'll be 3 there then, because there's 1 right now.
There's 1 right now. Okay.
Well, there's a banner there for
saying
our first responders.
Are you saying reduce the size of the class picture to half the size and have an equal? I mean, if you do that and then you have a Ramapo school class picture right next to it and it's 1 big banner, that would make the most sense since it's a regional school district. If it's the same size. So let's say the banner is 8 feet long. If you have 4 feet for Indian Hills and 4 feet for Ramapo. You connect the two and say, congratulations to the class of 2020, Ramapo Indian Hills Regional School District. I don't see how that could be so terrible.
So then can we keep with the original size that Louise?
No, I'm not
just
saying you
mentioned?
could, no, I'm not giving you permission. I don't have the right to give you permission. It was a suggestion. I'm just thinking out loud. Russ, you had something?
Yeah.
We're all, I think, thinking out loud. We're just trying to get something.
I mean, because all of a
established.
sudden we get hit with this, and this is not what we originally had heard.
If we had the one banner at whatever size they were saying, and then we just stacked it and put the other one on top of it, I understand it would be taller, but it would be two basically in the same spot. It wouldn't be taking up more real estate. It would just be going up.
Can
Try
we
something
do
like
that? Is that allowed?
I think what we need to see is the size and exactly what you're asking for from Ramapo High School. This is all conjecture on everybody's part. We have in fact.
Right, we're just trying to figure out that way when we go to Ramapo.
Well, why don't you get us the information so that at the next meeting, we have something to work with? We have no clue what exactly Ramapo wants to do. Lou?
Well, I'm just going to go back and say once again, maybe the rec field down at Roosevelt Boulevard is a viable option here. It's a large field. It's flat. There is parking. People can stop there. They can see their kids. There's nothing else to obstruct the view because by Bush Plaza, we already have the one banner there for our first responders. So now we're talking about putting 2 more good-sized banners there. I think it dilutes it. And if maybe we can just devote the rec field down by Roosevelt to the kids. And if parents want to come down and they want to populate it with lawn signs of their kids, you know what? This is the place for that. And people can go down there. They can walk around. They can see the kids. They can see it from the highway. Just a thought.
Well, if you still want to do Bush Plaza, we already voted on the size. I don't know what size we voted on, the 5 by 10, the 4 by 8. You're going to have, what did we vote on?
5 by 10.
5 by 10. So what you'll have to do is talk to Ramapo, divide it in half. You got the 5 feet in height, the 10 feet in length, make it a 5 by 5 for Indian Hills and a 5 by 5 for Ramapo. And connect them connect the 2 photos together, and that should solve the problem.
Mayor. Can you hear me?
Who's talking? I don't know who's talking.
It's Councilman Knapp.
I have to scroll over, sorry.
Okay, so if you don't mind, I'd like to give my 2 cents because I'm kind of had it with this whole conversation. So what I think we can do, if we decided, I believe, if I'm correct, we decided a week before the normal graduation date and then to a week after. So it's a 2-week span that we're going to do this. Why don't we just approved the Indian Hills banner to go to Bush Plaza, whether it's 4 by 8 or 5 by 10, whatever the size is. We have our other banner there already, thanking the first responders. That's been there, and I would assume, we're all assuming it's going to remain there while the Indian Hills banner goes there as well. For that 2-week period, why don't we move our first responder banner to either where we want to put the digital sign on Betts Park, and then we'll have only 2 signs in Bush Plaza, 1 Ramapo, 1 Indian Hills, both 4 by 8, both 5 by 10, whatever we approve 5 by 10, so then both 5 by 10. And it would be the same thing that we were going to do with Indian Hills only plus our first responder banner. No harm, no foul. Let's get this over with. We are making such a big deal out of this, and this is really not hard to do. So I listen, I don't have kids, but I support these kids in a big way. And I see a lot of those kids joining us on our fire department. So I understand what they're looking forward to. So this is not difficult. Let's just move our banner to somewhere else for 2 weeks and put the 2 school banners at the bottom of Yorpo.
I agree.
Everybody agrees?
Yep.
Everybody's happy? Okay,
Agree.
so problem solved.
Thank you.
Anybody else, Lisa?
I don't see anyone. Michael, do you?
Mayor, no one else.
Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bills to be paid.
Bills to be paid. $1,961,737.18. So moved.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy,
Yes.
Councilman Knapp,
Oh, God, yes.
Councilman Levy,
What he said.
Councilman Pignatelli,
Yes.
Councilman Talamini,
Yes.
Councilman Van Ack.
Yes.
Motion to close.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next meeting will be right here on Zoom on May 27th. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.